Hello friends, welcome to my channel Quick Poetry Knowledge, and this is Mehjabeen. Today I am going to provide you with stanza-wise explanation of the poem The Cold Within. This poem was composed by James Patrick Kinney, who was a poet of Irish origin and was born in Cincinnati in the USA. The poet composed this poem in the 1960s. Some of the other popular works of James Patrick Kinney are Of Life's Sad Moments, I Can't Change You, This Dream Bemusing, Tomorrow's Another Day, etc. The Cold Within is a poem which deals with man-to-man malice, racial prejudices, lack of sympathy, compassion, brotherhood, and fellow feeling amongst human beings and the consequences that such negativity can lead to. The poet begins the poem by preparing his reader for a story. The poet had probably heard this story from somebody else. This tale is about a group of 6 individuals who had all assembled by a fire on a bitterly cold day. Each of these human beings had been captured or cornered by a particular happening in their lives. In other words, all of these 6 people had not gathered by the fire by choice. Certain situations in their lives had compelled them to be there outside on a gloomy winter day. The poet also says that each of these 6 men had a log of wood with him. The fire around which these folks had gathered was not in good shape. It wasn't burning properly. In fact, the fire was dying out because of acute shortage of logs of wood. The first man in this group would have added his log of wood to the fire to make it burn a little longer. However, he wasn't in the mood to do so. This was because when he had looked around, he had noticed that one of the folks who had been sitting by the fire was a black man. This first man in the group hated black people, and so he did not add his log to the fire. The next man in that group also looked across his way. He noticed that one of the people in the group did not attend the church that he attended. Since this man couldn't tolerate men who followed other religious orders, he did not feel like adding his log to the weekly burning fire. He held on to his piece of wood which had been cut off a birch tree. The third person in the group was a poor man. His clothes were all tattered. He drew his coat tighter around his chest. He was also not in the mood to put his log to use. He despised the rich people. He harbored the opinion that the wealth and affluence of these people made them idle. This third man in the group did not want to part with his wood, as the fire would warm the rich man sitting amongst them. The third man felt that the lazy and wealthy people, like the one sitting near him, did not deserve such kindness from poor folks like him. The rich man in the group had intense hatred for the poor. Even on a cold, gloomy day outdoors, he was sitting and thinking only of the wealth that he had hoarded. His mind was busy working on ways and means by which he would be able to protect the riches that he had earned from the poverty-stricken people. He held the opinion that the poor were a useless, good-for-nothing lot, and his aim was to keep his wealth away from their hands. This person also demonstrated no interest in keeping the fire alive. His thoughts were occupied with selfish and totally materialistic stuff. The black man in the group also despised the white as strongly as the other hated him. When the fire was getting extinguished right in front of his eyes, he took no initiative to keep it alive by adding his log of wood. The black man thought that by not adding his log to the fire, he had got the perfect opportunity to show the white man how much he hated him. The last person in this group of six hopeless people was a very selfish person. He had always had this habit of helping only those people from whom he got something in return. So, he saw no reason in giving away his log of wood because he had not seen anybody else in the group doing so. This man's principle was to do something only for gain. He saw no reason to do something where there was no chance of him getting anything in return. As the men sat clutching their logs of wood, they froze to death because the fire that had kept them warm had long died out. Even in death, they were clinging to their logs, although none of them could move anymore. These men had to pay the price for their malicious nature. The logs held in their lifeless hands was proof of the sin each one of them had committed for being prejudiced, for lacking compassion and fellow feeling, and also for being brutal and evil to one of their own kind. Death was the punishment each got for his cruelty, for his lack of sensitivity to the pain of another human being who is no different from himself. The men had to die not for the cold outside, but for the coldness of their hearts. Had they been softer towards one another, they would have surely shared their logs of wood, and as a result, the fire would have burned for a longer duration and their lives might have been saved. Click on the description box for the notes. Part 2 of this tutorial containing critical evaluation of this poem, The Cold Within, will be uploaded very soon. If you are new to this channel, consider subscribing. Share this video with your friends. Let me know if you have got any doubt, any questions. Check out the playlist. Meet you again very soon. Bye.